Hi, hello everyone, good morning, welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here today with you and have the opportunity to speak about something that feels very personal, but also hopefully relatable or maybe even useful. I'm Dafni Vasilikari. I come from Greece. I'm an electrical and computer engineer, and I've been with Deutsche Börse Group since 2019. For the past almost 2 years, I'm leading a team called Customer Lifecycle Management under corporate IT. In these years, I've seen how technology evolves and shapes an organization. The first game changer for Deutsche Börse was the cloud adoption, which solved problems like scalability or long time to market. After having critical workloads successfully running in the cloud, we doubled down. We raised the stakes by establishing a partnership with Google to support our multi-cloud strategy. From then on, the foundation was there and we could accelerate. The next quest was to become a data-driven organization, while DLT unlocked new potentials for our business. There is a keynote from my dear colleagues later today that will give you more insights into that. The low-code, no-code trend came into the picture, and kind of recently, the next big thing, artificial intelligence. A technology considered so disruptive that challenges us to rethink and reinvent our way of working. There are many people here today more knowledgeable and accomplished than me that can give you insights on how to prepare your tech skill set for the future. I'm here to take it back to the basics. To remind you that technology is and has always been the catalyst, the tool to, or let's put it like that, behind engineering, behind natural sciences or applied sciences, there's always the same driver. We need to provide answers, solve problems, and fulfill needs. This is what technology does. This is what engineering does. This should already sound familiar because if I had to bet, I would say this is the reason why you went into your respective field. Usually looking for ways to serve your curiosity, seeking the joy of fixing things, maybe sometimes break them first to put them back together. So please keep this attitude because it will be an amazing asset to your career. However, something that it's not emphasized enough in school is that in a real job, you can still do all these things, you are expected to do all these things in not so straightforward ways. Not everything is a math problem where your problem statement is clear, you have all your facts or your figures, all the data you need to come up with a solution. You'll get wrong information, no information, a lot of opinions, situations where nobody has a clue, situations where all the variables move all at the same time, and you need to figure it out. So the qualities you need to hold on to, what are they? Before getting into this, companies still hire for the mindset because it's the one thing that you cannot train. It doesn't matter if you're on a path to advance your career or you're trying to land your first job, demonstrating these qualities or on the job or during an interview is what makes the employers invest in you. So what makes someone a talent? The ability to understand and find solutions to problems, to complex problems, is good. The ability to find simple solutions is better. Realizing that maybe you focus on the wrong thing and asking yourself the wrong question is the best. So being skeptical will serve you well. The risk is you might come across as someone of a negative mindset, the person who finds a problem for any solutions instead. So how do you avoid that? Communication. Building the skill to express yourself and deliver your message, whatever that is, in a way that resonates with the audience, with the recipient. To do that, you need to be able to understand what the audience cares about, what are their motives and goals, to spark interest, engagement, and eventually build trust, which will lead to influence without authority. But the first step to do that is to accept that you're going to miss the target so many times. You're going to fail, but you still need to choose to do that and repeat until you get it right. Last, I want to talk about learning. Organizations which care about their employee turnover need to constantly educate their staff. That's clear. Following the conventional way as an individual, the unconventional way of learning, is the easy part. The difficult part is recognizing that learning can come from everything, from every interaction. With your colleagues at the coffee corner, there may be too long and boring meeting you were invited to, a podcast, an article, even social media. Learning doesn't mean only sitting back and absorbing information. It means training your sensor, training your antennas to pick up the useful information and filter out the noise. Keep what is useful to you. The list of skills and traits can go on and on. Describing the perfect employee is as impossible as describing the perfect human. My message today is be mindful of who you want to be in the workplace and beyond, and make it your compass. Because what you do will take you from job to job, but how you're perceived by your professional surroundings is what will shape your career. And now, let's talk specifically about women and some of the habits stereotypically considered female that can be viewed both as positive and negative. So how they will or where they will ultimately lead is up to your steering. First difference between men and women, receiving feedback. Men's first reaction to feedback is usually rejection, to negative feedback, is to assume the feedback is false and build a narrative that justifies why it doesn't apply to them. Sometimes it's even followed by aggression towards the messenger. Women instead are the complete opposite. The first instinct is to take the feedback as true, feel numb and discouraged. Then they also build a narrative, but one that validates the given feedback. It goes a little bit like this. Why is this the perception? What did I do to create it? What were my actions that built this image? Sounds like a more constructive approach. I would say it is, because it creates self-reflection. The other side of the coin, it can mean getting stuck, replaying scenarios, wondering if you were too much or too little, or what you could have done differently to get another outcome, a different outcome. Very often the result is out of your control. So choose self-reflection, balance between self-reflection and self-consciousness. The behavior is linked to, in my humble opinion, the nemesis of our existence as women, the need to be perfect. To be perfect, you need to know everything, every little detail, and you need to do it alone. Because how could you prove yourself otherwise? And maybe it's too much, and this creates this feeling of paralysis, but you can't disappoint people because they're counting on you. There are good intentions behind this pattern, but these behaviors don't work in your favor or at all, and they're definitely not sustainable. So what's the alternative? Remember what's important. This is more than understanding priorities. Remember the outcome you're aiming for. The journey to it will most likely look different than what you imagined. But acting despite the uncertainty is what will move you forward. Then find your allies. This goes beyond networking or teamwork. It's the realization that you have to rely on people to get things done, especially the further you go in your career or higher on the corporate ladder. So please let go of the idea that you need to hoard your expertise, because this is how you tap into leadership. And then the need to please. Of course, you need to make your customers happy, your manager. It's definitely better for you if your colleagues appreciate you. But have you thought that maybe some tasks end up on your desk, not because you're the best person for the job, but because nobody wants them and you're the one more open to receiving them? And what if these tasks distract you from what's important, from the things that matter? So setting your boundaries and voicing what you want and you don't want is important. It doesn't cancel your commitment to the common cause when you're in a supportive environment. Earlier I mentioned the importance of learning from your surroundings, from experiences or interactions. A woman's radar has usually a much bigger range than a man's. Their awareness is sharper, maybe because they're more empathetic, maybe because they're biologically programmed to keep alive tiny humans. The point is, this combination, together with a tendency to be self-conscious and the need to be perfect, can often lead to feeling overwhelmed and drowning into anxiety. Learning how to regulate these emotions and keep your focus is a serious challenge. Ignorance might be bliss, but knowledge is power. So if you manage to be kind and forgiving to yourself, it gets easier. At the beginning, I said the topic feels very personal. Sure, we stereotype and generalize, but there's truth to it, at least for me. When I finished university, I wanted to be a developer. I found joy being in front of the computer alone, treating coding like a riddle, like a puzzle that I get to solve. I spent 2 years in test and functional analyst positions. And then I said, I want to reset. I want to go and be a developer, because if I don't do it now, I will never do. I will completely disconnect myself from the domain, and there's no turning back. So I applied for a developer position in Deutsche Börse. I did the coding tests, I did multiple interviews, and I got it. Long story short, and probably not a plot twist by now, I wasn't really a developer. I didn't work as a developer when I started the job. I did a little bit of everything. I became a jack of all trades who was getting things done. So I got a lot of appreciation, exceptional feedback, amazing reviews. I felt really proud. At the same time, I felt guilt, or maybe even shame, because that wasn't my plan. That was not my intention. To this day, I wonder if I'm allowed to call myself an engineer. I have a diploma that says so. It took a lot of time and effort to get it. But does it mean that I threw all these years away by doing the career choices that I made? When someone asks what I do, what should I say? What I studied? what's my job title or what I actually do. And why do I do it? Am I in autopilot or is it a conscious choice? Today it is a conscious choice. Now it is a conscious choice. Back then it was a little bit of trial and error. But this inner struggle with my professional identity and my confidence was so intense that I'm pretty sure I sabotaged myself a couple of times on the way. Why am I telling you this? Not because you need to follow the same path. You can do things your own way. There's no a singular answer to where you want to go. But what is important for me today is to normalize the self-doubt, but turn it into mindfulness, to normalize the uncertainty, but see it as potential and opportunity, to normalize living with the imposter syndrome, but still choose to step up. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dafni. I shouldn't have mentioned that you're a first-timer because nobody would have noticed. So sorry for mentioning it again the second time. Do we have any questions from the audience? Now is your chance to ask Dafni everything you wanted. Who is going to be the first one? I know it's scary. But okay, then I will ask a question. You mentioned that, I mean, of course, many challenges today in the workforce. What a time to be working, and there's a lot to learn. But what is your tip? You know, because you, especially most of you, maybe are new at working, so everybody has to learn, but especially the new ones. What is your tip to have the knowledge of others? So especially maybe they don't want to share, or they're the experts on this topic, and you just want to drain this knowledge. What's your go-to tip?
I think the difficulties for newcomers to the workforce and experienced people are very different. So usually when you start, you think that the results that you're delivering are only tasks. But it's more than that. If you don't use the time I don't want to say build your brand because that's so cheesy, but if you don't build your support system, if you don't get the appreciation, if you don't get the buy-in from your team and your boss and your customers, whoever, I think you're going to be isolated. And being isolated cannot get you very far. For more experienced people, especially the ones that stay in the same organization or even job for a very long time, there is this tendency to relate their importance, their significance to the knowledge. And sometimes sharing this knowledge is weakness. It's a risk. Why? Maybe I make myself
because they still want to be
responsible.
special.
Yeah, maybe
okay.
I make myself redundant. But the irony, especially in leadership position, is that you are doing a great job if you become redundant. Can your team operate without you? Did you get them there? Did they grow so much that they can do everything without you? That's great. And then you can go and do it again and again, maybe to a larger scale. I think leadership is almost like a candle. You can light so many candles from the same flame. It doesn't take away.
Wow, no, you're a very philosophical person. Thank you.
Lots of podcasts these days. Not yet in therapy.
Thank you very much. There's a question. I will go to you and give you the microphone. Please speak directly to it so everybody will hear you.
Hi, I'm Omar. Thank you for the keynote. I have one question about, because I think the topic. I think the topic is about also sort of how it is being a woman in Deutsche Börse. and I was curious how the challenges as you sort of climb the corporate ladder, do you feel like the challenges also changed, grew, or is it more so that the challenges themselves were perhaps similar and it's more so that your mindset and the way that you dealt with it, as you mentioned, like all these sort of possibilities is what helped you sort of progress even further?
Okay, I know it's a bit hard to understand if you're in front because the speakers go to the back, but it was about the challenges. Have they changed during your career or are they more or less the same?
They have changed in the sense that my job has changed. I started with an entry position and I'm a team lead now, so there was progress there, and every upgrade came with a new set of challenges. What I see in the organization and beyond that is the tendency to focus more on people. So before, for example, again, back to leadership, before the person who knew the most, the expert, the senior guy would be the leader, even if the people management aspect was very weak. The things like inspiring and encouraging and making development plans for your team and giving constructive feedback, all these things are in focus the last decade or so. It's a newer thing. So it's good to see that in general, not the women focus, but the people focus is stronger now than before. People also, I think, are more open to understanding the very specific problems women and difficulties women experience. And also from our side, we are more open to speak about it because yes, we are vulnerable by talking about it, but it's not a weakness. It's just facts. Again, let's come to normalize how things are, even biologically. Like we play this game with a big disadvantage. So openness is there. Effective measures and understanding from everyone is not there yet. If we, and together with the newest generation, continue to do it, I hope we get there.
Thank you. Does this answer your question or do you have a follow-up? Okay, you got it. Yeah, we have another question. Please speak very close and loudly because it will be hard for you to understand.
Hi, thank you for your lecture. So I have a question concerning isolation. So isolation. If you are a foreigner in
I am a foreigner.
in a German company and the group doesn't accept you, is there any chance to come across with this, or if you what to avoid if you want to change the group for the situation not to be repeated? Thank you.
I guess the question is the whole culture the problem or individuals? Because if a company is very rooted to its nationality, dominant nationality, and don't even realize that bringing in a foreigner, they need a certain support and a way to be included, it's a big miss. I don't want to be so drastic and say you're at the wrong place, but again, first step, voice it. You must have someone who, hopefully your boss, that you can open up to. Bring it to the table. Worst case scenario, maybe there's a conflict. Yeah. What is going to happen? Make a plan B.
Then maybe the company doesn't fit you if you don't feel accepted from German potatoes like me.
If you don't fit somewhere, don't assume it's you. It's not always you. Sometimes you're at the wrong place. You're simply at the wrong place. Find companies that match your set of values and your priorities and your mindset.
Yes. Does this answer your question? Okay. Okay. We have we have time for one last question. Again, please loudly.
Hi, thanks a lot for your sharing. I have one question. So, as a career starter, I often struggle with the mindsets of, okay, should I voice out what I think that could address this silo, this a silo in a process, for example, in the organization, or considering my limited experience, I should just ignore it, go for it, because no one would probably listen to my opinions. And so that's one thing. And the other thing is, what are the 3 to 5 most important mindset traits you would say in the Deutsche Börse group culture, or you as a team lead see in your teammates that you would think, okay, with these traits, this person could advance in his or her career path? Thank you.
Okay, so first I would say, okay, the structure, the formal approach is prepare with evidence, prepare to justify your opinion. At the same time, sometimes when you're not at that stage, because of your confidence, because of your position, when you don't feel comfortable to do it directly, do the simple thing, ask questions. Ask so many questions, try to explore something from all sides, because if there is a gap, if there's a crack in the story, by doing this 360 examination, the story will collapse. So even myself, I won't go to someone and say, you're wrong. I'm just going to ask, have you thought of this and that? And maybe if you have a point, you put the seed of doubt, and then we go and, oh, actually, yeah, that makes sense. Let's do it again. So you don't need to be direct, but you can still find ways to voice it. Maybe you need to be a little bit more diplomatic. The second part of your question, well, whatever I put in the slide is what I believe, what I feel it's important, and what I see being recognized in the organization through myself or other people who are advancing their careers. To put it very simply, if you're the person that can figure things out and still do it in a way where you're open to failure, open to be wrong, and able to build relationships, that's the key combination that will bring you to success.
Dafni, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Unfortunately,
Thank you,
we are out of time. If I have it in my mind correctly, Deutsche Börse Group has their booth right here, right?
Yeah.
Will you be
Here
there as
and
well
there.
if there are more
I think
questions?
for
Or
a
do you
bit.
have to... Yeah, for a bit.
Yeah.
So be quick. Otherwise, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.